Guys, before I even start this video, I want to put you on game on female nature real quick, because we always talk about the negative sides of female nature, but like I've said on a number of occasions now, there are some pros to female nature, right? Now, one of those pros is that a woman can serve as a gauge for a man. In other words, a woman can let a man know where he vibrates, what frequency he vibrates on, right? Because you have to understand, a woman is a direct reflection of a man, right? So we can also use this same energy that resides in a woman to not only see who we are, but to see who she really is, right? See, if you want to know about a woman, you can ask her about who she hangs with. You can ask her what she does in her spare time. You can even ask her about her past. But the response you get is going to be limited, and it may not even be true. But if you really want to know who a woman is, if you really want to know what you're dealing with, what you need to ask that woman is this. Ask that woman, when she sees you, what does she see? Now, I've asked a number of women this. I've asked women this that I was involved with. I've asked this to women who I was just very good friends with. And I've received, different answers. Some women tell me, I think you're just caring, kind, sweet guy, yada, yada, yada. And some of my very good friends have said, like, I think you're this and that. Maybe not some terms that I really like to hear, but that was, what they saw in me. But what it does, guys, it lets you know what you're dealing with. Because see, a woman, and this is the thing about female nature, a woman only has the ability to see traits in a man that she has in herself. That's why a woman is a reflection of you. So in other words, guys, if you want to know what you're really dealing with, ask that woman, what do you see in me? And what she's going to tell you is exactly who she is, guys. So that's free game. Now with my channel growing with women subscribers, I think I'm right around the 30% mark of women subscribers. I have to give some free game to the women as well, right? And this is something my grandmother taught me, I want to say when I was like 6, 7, 8 years old, right? She was talking about a woman, being interested in a man and how she can kind of just judge a man by his character. And she said, if a woman really wants to know if a man is who he say he is, she said, all a woman has to do is go look in that man's closet. She said, once a woman sees that a part of a man that the world is just closed off to, it's gonna tell that woman everything she needs to know about that man. So if you want to know anything about your man, if you want to know that if he is who he say he is, just go take a look in his closet. And I can tell you that ever since I've heard him, and I've tried to make an effort to keep my closet dressed. And I can tell when I do that my life is in that exact same order. So, boom, again, free game. It is. It's your boy Soul Immortal. Woe is me. It is the frequency screamed out by the masses of women, brothers, that feel like either a man has taken advantage of them or done them wrong in some way, right? But I'm telling you guys, the victim mentality in women is a key indicator that lets you know that you either are or were standing on death's front door. Let's talk about it.
I can't stand the sight of you, and you can't stand the thought that when my body weakens, I'll be gone before the sun comes up.
So brothers, I just made a video about men and accountability, right? And in my opinion, if a brother doesn't have this trait, he can't consider himself amongst the upper echelon of men, right? Now, when I talk about accountability, it has to cover every part of a man's life, right? When a man is talking about his family, he has to be accountable. When a man is talking about his finances, he has to be accountable. Even when a man is talking about the relationships of his past, he has to take accountability. Now, over the last decade, I've dated some great women, right? Now, I know what you're saying. You're saying, so if these women were so great, then why aren't they still there? Now, the reason I consider these women great, because I only choose to focus on the good, right? Now, despite these women being cheaters, being liars, even stealing money from my home, I still only choose to see the good. Now, did I learn from these different situations? Of course I did. But me as a man, I have to take accountability for everything that takes place in my life. Now, in my opinion, being the victim in any situation is a female trait to me. Matter of fact, it's not even a female trait. It's strictly a 95% trait. See, every man has a woman from his past that feels like she was the perfect woman while he was the narcissist. But what you'll learn is the 95% woman never takes accountability. The 95% woman never says, what was my role in the breakup? You have no idea how many brothers I talked to over the last couple of years. They have the exact same story, including myself, right? So you're in a relationship, and for whatever reason, things are not happening as they should, and you two break up. Now, in a short amount of time, you have thoughts of that person, and in the back of your mind, you're like, I hope that person has found love. I hope that person is married, children, whatever they desire, right? And you let it go. And then over time, you'll find yourself either happily single, or you'll find yourself in another relationship, and then boom, the ex is back in your life somehow. Now, she's definitely coming back. The question is she coming back directly or indirectly, right? Now, some women are going to just come back. They're going to just straight pick the phone up, call you, shoot you a text or whatever, right? But some women may feel like they messed up so bad that they can't even go that route. They have to go the outside route. And what these women will do, they'll either start talking to you or start talking about you amongst their friends, or they may get on social media and start talking about you indirectly, right? So I was on the phone with my boy the other day. We texted, man. We talking about, hitting the club this weekend, popping a few bottles or whatever. And in mid-conversation, he says, yeah, man, I saw my feed today, man. Your ex was online talking muddy about you, right? And I'm like, man, my ex. I'm like, bro, I was single for a long time. Like what ex? And he's like, come on, man. So I'm like, surely he's not talking about who I think he is. So I sent him a screenshot of a person that was on my Instagram story that very day. I'm like, you talking about this ex? And he's like, yeah. And here's the thing, man. So you have these women that have been in your life, man. They'll go out and they'll talk reckless about you. They'll talk about you're a narcissist. They'll talk about you're the devil. But at the same time, they can't stop talking about you. At the same time, they can't stop checking on you. They can't get off of your social media. You know what I'm saying? And I was explaining to the brother, I was like, man, for some reason, this ex that you're talking about comes on my Instagram story and then blocks me as if I can't see her coming on my IG. So it blows my mind. But this is one way that women from your past will try to enter your life again, right? So this way, or they'll come direct. And when they come direct, this is what you can expect, guys. You can expect your woman to come back into your life, and all of a sudden, she's this new person, right? She either dresses different, she wears her hair different, she might wear a medallion over her neck. But guys, I'm telling you, I've fallen for this trap enough times so that you brothers don't have to do it. I'm telling you, I talk to brothers all the time, and it's almost like we all have the same story. Brother, when your ex is coming back from the past and she's this newfound person, brother, believe me, leave the past in the past. Now, one thing I can guarantee, brothers, is that regardless of what method this young lady chooses to come back into your life, right? One thing you can guarantee is she'll never talk about the good, right? Like she'll never talk about how when she was in your life, she didn't have to want for anything, right? She'll never talk about when her family members were on their deathbed and you made sure everybody was good. You were doing things outside of your jurisdiction to make sure everybody was good, right? She won't talk about, if she had a son or if she had a daughter that didn't have a father in their life, but their child had the ability to look to you for guidance. See, she won't talk about all these things, right? All she talks about is he was a narcissist. he was a ball of evil. But like I said, guys, a woman is just a direct reflection of maybe a part of something that's in you, but it's a direct reflection of who she is. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, brother, these are some of the oldest tricks in the books. And trust me, I've fallen for them enough, like I said before, that you guys don't have to do it. Take my word. Regurgitating a woman from the past is not the way to move. Stay focused, stay on your grind, stay in your abundant life, and don't look back, brothers. Now, rarely do I talk about a specific subject and say that, this is an absolute. There's always exceptions to the rule. In other words, there's going to be some times in your life, guys, where you'll be with a young lady and y'all might part ways and y'all may do some developing over time and at some point come back together and be better for it and grow in a solid direction. But as they say, the proof is always in the pudding, right? And what I mean by that is, if you want to know if the woman that you're dealing with is a Proverbs 5 woman, then really all you have to do is look at, the soul trained men of the soul trained line of men in her lives. And when I say that, pun is intended, I'm literally talking about the line of souls that this woman has left in her past. And I'm not just talking about relationships. I'm talking about all the men in her life, right? So the men in her life, are they world changers? Are they a positive example, to this world? Are they giving back? Are they making a change in society? Or are they men that are scattered amongst the graveyards of America? Are they men that are in and out of the correctional facilities of America? Are they men that are just not doing what solid men do in today, right? Again, the proof is in the pudding. And to really get down to the nuts and bolts of what you're dealing with, a lot of times you can just take a quick glance at her track record. At the end of the day, we have to understand that all of this is about our energy, our essence as men, right? And if nothing else, I want there to be at least 3 takeaways that you get from this video. One, you need to understand that most of the women from your past need to remain in your past. Don't allow this victim mentality to shift your energy into thinking, what did I do wrong, or what did I wasn't this. Don't allow that energy to shift. Stay your path and keep moving toward a life of abundance, guys. So that's one. 2, when it comes to the women from your past, what you need to do is take all the negative, whether there was lying, cheating, stealing, whatever, take all of that and learn from it, but then let it go. Because to hold on to that, guys, I'm telling you, it's a poison. Each one of the women that you've dealt with, choose only to see the positive in your life. If there's anybody that can come to me right now and ask me about one of my exes, I don't care if it was somebody I talked to just for, a short amount of time or somebody I was with for years, right? I'm going to say nothing but positive things because that's all I choose to hold on to. To say that I'm with a person for X amount of time and I can only talk about negative things, it's immature, right? I can look at the women that I've been involved with, man, and I can easily say that, I can see where this person made me a better person. I can see where this person assisted me at this point in my life. That's a maturity. Not only is it a sign of maturity, it's a knowledge of energy. It's a knowledge of how things work. The reason that my life is abundant like it is because I only choose to tie into, energies that are abundant. I can't be sitting here talking negative about people that I've experienced and want my life to be on the up end. It just doesn't work like that, right? And 3, one thing that I think that we can learn from the Bible is the story about our brother Lot, right? Now in Genesis, you remember the story where Lot and his family, were leaving to transition toward a new life. They were headed outside of the city, but for some reason, the woman and Lot's wife, she couldn't quite vibrate on that frequency where they were going, right? Now what his wife did was look back to their old life. She wanted to talk about the old things and all this stuff. And the Bible said just boom, she turned into a pillar of salt. But Lot was a wise man. He kept it moving forward. And despite whatever was going on, he kept his mind on the abundance life and kept it moving. So what we can learn from Lot is stay on the path and don't be looking back at salty women.
Eddie!